Well, dear friends, let me start off by greeting you warmly. In the precious name of our Lord and Savior, I greet you from my study here at the church. And I trust you can see on my face a very, very big smile, one filled with praises to God. As you no doubt by now would know, as we notified you earlier this morning, we are, Lord willing, planning on reopening both our morning service and our Sunday night Bible study as of this coming Lord's Day, Sunday, the 6th of September. That will mean it's been 6 months since we last as a congregation have gathered in these facilities and have gathered for corporate worship. And so we are overjoyed. And as a leadership, we thought it would be both wise and good to put together just a YouTube presentation like this one, just to talk you through the processes of what this entails, what you could expect, what's about to happen, how it's going to work, Lord willing, when we start gathering again this coming Lord's Day. Let me firstly say we really are looking forward to having you with us. I am personally looking forward, no longer preaching to a set of blue chairs, but to preach to God's people who will be in the sanctuary with us. We're very aware that there are strict limitations and prescriptions. We are bound by government by only having 50 people in the service with us. And it's taken us a long time to make this decision as to whether we should reopen or not. We do believe, as we've watched the curve and see what the COVID virus is doing, that now may possibly be a good time for us to consider reopening our services. And so let me stress, if you are able to join us, in other words, if you're healthy enough, if you're not falling in categories in which it would be dangerous for you to come, we certainly would encourage you to come. In the same breath, I think it is so important on behalf of the leadership that I stress that we will be adding no pressure whatsoever to anyone, that you have to come. It is truly voluntarily if you were to come. It is at your own risk as well. And we know by now, after 6 months of being exposed to COVID in so many places, you and I know what to expect and what will come our way. So this little YouTube presentation really is just to talk you through what to expect, how we're going to handle things, how things are going to be. Folk, the reality is we firstly need to start off by recognizing it's going to be different. There's no doubt it is not going to be the same as it was before COVID. There are many things that we've needed to implement. There are a number of restrictions. There are things we can do. There are things we are not allowed to do. And that certainly is going to make it quite different. I remember very well during this time, I've had a number of memorial services under strict COVID regulations. And at first, for me personally, it made it very cold and clinical. The fact that chairs are 1.5 meters apart, the fact that fellowship is not permitted, that we can't have teas, those no doubt make it different. But let me state in the positive, we do believe that meeting, even under strict conditions, is no doubt better than not meeting together. So, a couple of things that you need to take cognizance of and be aware of as you prepare and consider joining us as of this Lord's Day. Folk, you and I are going to need to wear masks at all times, from the time that you arrive in the car park till the very time that you get back in your car. Masks will be mandatory to be worn throughout the period of our worship. In light of the fact that we can only have 50 people, we will more than likely only open the gate on the tar parking side, as that will provide ample parking for 50 people. As you park on that side of the church, you will notice then as you come down the walkway that there will be 2 allocated sanitizing stations outside the church building. And we would request of you that you would sanitize your hands thoroughly before you enter the building. Thereafter, before entering, will be a sign-up table. You will note that together with all the info we're sending you, an electronic sign-up form will be sent to you. We would ask that you pre-register before you come. And in light of the fact that you would have pre-registered, the beauty is when you arrive on a Sunday morning, the only thing you would need to do at the registration table, in light of the fact that we would already have all your details, is you would have to allow us just to screen your temperature before allowing you in. The regulated temperature is 38 degrees for an adult, and we would reserve the right to have to ask you if your temperature is higher than that you would not enter the facilities and worship with us. So please make sure that you are not showing any of the symptoms of COVID even before you come on a Lord's Day. The pre-registered electronic form that will be sent to the church every Wednesday, I've also put together a separate little clip that will also be sent to you explaining in detail how that works, and you can work through that, and it really is self-explanatory, and I trust that you'll know very easily how to do that. Then let me say to you that as you enter the sanctuary inside the building, things will look very different than the norm. For one, chairs are already spaced 1.5 meters apart. We only have the allowed number of chairs packed out in the sanctuary, and those chairs will have to remain apart from each other during the time of worship. We won't be able to sing. We will still screen on YouTube, and we'll still have our 2 songs per worship service, but those of you joining us in the actual sanctuary will only hum with us, while those at home on YouTube will still have the joy of singing. We won't be able to have communion. We're going to have to take up the offertory in a very different way than we are used to. On Sunday nights, in our Sunday night Bible study, we won't put out tables because that again is another risk of too many items being touched. And so there are going to be a number of changes, and we want you to be aware of those and prepare yourself for some of the things that are different. We won't be able to have tea. We'd encourage you, though. We are allowed to have fellowship, but outside on the lawns and keeping the required distances from each other. We'll encourage you to bring along your own flask of coffee if you prefer, and to have fellowship that way. We're not allowed to serve tea under these circumstances, but we certainly will have fellowship, Lord willing, afterwards. So if you're thinking of joining us as of this Lord's Day, what should you do? Well, the first thing that you need to do is you would need to register electronically for every service. If you're planning to come to 2 services on a Lord's Day, you would need to register twice, both for the morning service and the evening service, as per the WhatsApp link that will be sent to you together with this presentation. You will receive it. Please help us in this regard. Please do not arrive on a Sunday if you haven't pre-registered. In light of the fact that we only have the allotted number of 50, a pre-registered process is absolutely essential in this regard. Then we want to ensure you that we're going to do our utmost best to cater for everyone. Seeing that we have a restriction of 50 people per service, beloved friends, we're going to need your help. The electronic form, when you are registering, will tell you if we've reached our allotted quota. And then it won't allow you to register for that particular service. Here's where we need your help. If you're one of those that have registered and the registration process is filled up already, would you please be so kind as to WhatsApp Nicole Sengers, who will be handling the registration process in the background. Just send Nicole a private message. Tell her that you wanted to come, but that you did not have space. The reason that is so important is that is the only way we will know how many people were not catered for in the 50 number. And that then will help the leadership of the church on a weekly basis ascertain whether there is need for a second morning service. And if that be the case, it will indeed, under COVID regulations, be our greatest joy to ensure that there is a second morning service so that all of our people who want to worship are given the opportunity. It may very well also mean that some of our people may need to choose to come to a morning service and perhaps not to the evening, or perhaps to the evening and not to the morning. But again, please remember that we are more than willing to create a third service on a Sunday to cater for all our people. Hence, it is so crucial that you pre-register before you come. Then I cannot stress it better than I'm about to do now. Please make sure that you are healthy before you come. Beloved friends, as an act of love for your neighbor, if you are demonstrating any symptoms, it would be better that you don't join us on these Lord's days. For those of you who are not certain whether you should come or now, take your time. There's no pressure. Make sure that you are comfortable and clear in your own conscience, that it would be both right and good and healthy for you to come before you make the decision to come. We'd also ask you that you please come a little bit earlier than you usually would. That would help us just with the registration process at the table outside, as we need to take your temperature. And it would be better if you here maybe 10-15 minutes before the service starts, so that we could complete that process. Then also take note that the electronic sign-up form will be sent out every week on a Wednesday. We would ask that you, over the course of Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, decide whether you're joining us for one or two of the services, and that you would register no later than 12 o'clock on a Friday afternoon, so as to help us to prepare and know what numbers we can expect both for our morning service and our Sunday night Bible study. Well, folk, I hope this has been helpful. That gives you a little bit of a rundown of what could be expected. Please do know that we are continuing to broadcast both the morning service and now also the Sunday night Bible study live on YouTube. The morning service will be live at 9 a.m. The evening Bible study will go live at 5:30 p.m. on a Sunday afternoon. So for those who, for reasons because of health, etc., are not going to be joining us in the sanctuary, please don't worry, because nothing is changing whatsoever. Our live broadcast, Lord willing, will still take place every Lord's Day. So I think that's it for now. Let me stress that if you have any questions pertaining to the process, if there's anything in your mind that is unclear, will you please just pick up the phone, contact any of the leaders of the church, and we will be glad to assist you with more information in terms of how this process is going to work. So let me end off by saying, I know that it's going to be different. I know that it's not going to be the same, but I do believe that it still will be better for us to gather together in person. And so from my side to yours, here from the church facilities, warm greetings to you in your home. We really are looking forward seeing you, Lord willing, with us this coming Lord's Day. God bless and enjoy the rest of your week.